Good afternoon. This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X, and this is Super Secret Project Sketch. And today, my wife is checking stuff. And today, I'm going to do one of my favorite characters. Now, I don't know what everyone thinks of this series. I happen to enjoy it. I like the DreamWorks Netflix stuff. And I happen to need to unplug this. I happen to very much from the show Three Below like Varvatos Vex, mostly because he's a giant, chubby, violent psychopath who is insanely funny. I mean, honestly, on a kid's show, he is a complete freaking psychopath, and he is just so funny because of it. So I'm drawing him today. So there. Gonna put him right next to Connie. Oh, the kiss at the end of the show. Oh, it's gonna be unholy. Okay. What I'm doing right there. All right. So, I'm gonna do what I typically do when doing any character is I go in, look at the whole page, try to figure out the best way to fill in the page with the character. I usually just do headshots for these, so I usually keep it pretty simple. Put down a quick base shape just to get the volume in. The reason why I do this is one, it makes sure that your character fills the whole white space, or fills it in the way that you want. The other one is it doesn't matter how good an eye looks if it's in the wrong spot or it's the wrong size, and he has 4 of them. So I go in and I try to just get a lot of the base shapes in first. And then once you start getting base shapes in, you can go like, man, that nose is too wide. You thin that nose. And you go, oh man, that face is too wide. Let me cut that off. And you're like, oh man, that cheekbone's too low. Well, the idea is you don't sit there and marry yourself to any one line early on, because you probably don't have it right anyway. I've been doing this for way too long, and I'm completely fine with the idea that, in fact, I'm not going to have the lines in the right spot right off the bat. There's artists I'm certain that can do it. I'm not one of them. I get pretty close sometimes, and every once in a while I actually do it, but I don't worry about. I don't base my ego off of it, I'll put it that way. I just don't. There's just no point to it. Oh, I didn't make the drawing perfect from the beginning. Oh, please.
Well, that's the point of sketching. It's not... you're just having fun and putting lines down and... like, getting the itches out of your brain, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Itches get stitches.
Itches get stitches. I think you can easily hit lines like almost first thing if it's like a character you've done a bunch of times. Or let's say you draw the anime style, the manga style, the Josie and the Pussycat style, the G.I. Joe style from the 80s, whatever it is. If you do it 1,000 times, you're probably going to get those lines down.
Yeah, because it becomes muscle memory, and the character becomes... It becomes basically part of you.
Yeah.
It's like when I watch Disney animators, after they've been working on a movie for so long, and they can... I mean, one of my favorites is Glenn Keane. And watching him just pop up characters from favorite Disney movies, like they're just like, yeah, here we go. it's almost magic to watch, even
Yeah.
though we basically do the same thing.
Yeah, Aaron Blaze is very much the same way.
Oh, yeah.
I watched him animate some stuff on live streams,
Yeah.
and you just end up staring at that dude going like, holy
Sorcery.
crap. What was really funny is there was this one where he did this beautiful tiger animation and just a tiger walk cycle. And he's going through all this and that. I think it was his son he was talking to. He's blah, 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 and yada, yada. And he's doing all the stuff and doing the drawing. Actually, I think it was on Photoshop or whatever that he was animating. But he got in there, and he then stopped and went, wait a minute. This foot is like in the wrong spot, and it's in front of or behind something that it shouldn't have been. And then he just goes like, oh, do that. He's like, and he fixed it and all that, but you end up going like, holy crap, he was still doing it while talking to his son, and that was the one mistake he made. You know, and yeah, there were some rough lines and stuff, but that happens in animation. I mean, that you know, it is what it is. But he's still like, these lines are still super close to what they would end up being anyway, and you're like, you're some kind of Martian, dude, you know?
He's a witch.
He's a witch. Aaron Blaze, you're a witch. You know? But no, he's.
And we mean that in the most positive way, sir.
Yeah, because he's kind of magical. Yeah, he's kind of magical. You're just going like, geez, man. So I'm just trying to imagine what his career was like, because he was the last of like some of the Disney guys that did the hand animation, and
yeah, I mean some of his more influential stuff. When he was a huge animal guy and animator.
She's an animal.
But no, he did a lot of work. He was, I think, one of the main guys on Brother Bear, and his stuff on Brother Bear was amazing to watch, and just seeing him just animate, because I know he's doing a self-done movie, animated short for himself, and it's about polar bears.
Well, he should, because I mean, if I had that dude's skill set, I'd be like, I'm going to do whatever crackpot out there I want to do. You know, there's going to be animated movies about a war between communist Russia and I don't know, tomato soup cans. You know, and the tomato soup cans win. You know.
I know it's funny to think this, but and I know I'm not the only artist that think this, but it's just like I always imagine, like, if I had the skill of a particular artist, I'm just like,
I know.
Man, I would be doing some crazy fun stuff.
Well, I've fought honestly tooth and nail my entire life just to get where I'm at, and I'm 40 something now, and I'm pretty good, but there's guys out there where I'm going like, dude, what are you, some kind of mutant? You know, I wish I had your ability. There's guys out there where I watch them and I'm like, crap, you know, like, holy cow.
You son of a... Yeah, man, and there's people that I watch on the various art sites and stuff, and I'm just like, man, if I had just half of your skills, like, I'd be having some weird fun.
No. Oh no, it's not that I'm like complaining, because I'm happy at this. I'm happy at what I've been able to do, but still, you just see some people and you're just going,
yeah, one of the goals of the artist is you never stop learning.
You never do.
You always aim to improve on your stuff, and I mean, because there are people who are looking at us going, "Hey, I wish we were where you guys are." And it's just work, and so
I've been working at doing just to where I'm at now since I was 13. Mm-hmm. So that's over 25 years. And I was hoping I'd get somewhere by the time I was in my mid-20s. And clearly I mean, like I said, I'm not complaining, but I'm not anywhere near where I wanted to be. But we keep trying, and, blah, blah, blah,
There's an old gospel saying, I may not be where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I could be.
Or where I used to be.
Where I used to be.
There we go. Varvatos. Oh, man. It's some of the stuff that Varvatos said and did in Three Below. Fine, everyone can have their opinion of the show. I look at it and go like, some people are just going to hate this. I enjoyed myself. I thought Three Below was fun. I've enjoyed both seasons. And Varvatos is one of the reasons why I like the show, because he's just this giant, crazy, violent person that when he's in human disguise looks like an old grandpa. So there's this old, fit, frail grandpa running around screaming the most genocidal, insane, maniac, murderer, torture addict kind of stuff you can, and he's so funny because of it. And there's this, at one point in time, a police officer stopped him and he screamed something to the effect of, "I will find your family in their sleep and murder them!" Something like that. It was real crazy. And the police officer looked at him, then looked at the kids and went, "Is your grandpa off his meds?" And it was just one of those, like, you're like, he just threatened to kill that cop's whole family. You know? You don't normally see that in a kid's show. You know? Or at least not, you didn't used to.
For anyone who's
So
watching,
funny.
please pardon the rattle noise you may hear once in a while. We have our windows open and enjoying the fresh air.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm taking this seriously and such, but I also take fresh air seriously. And as much as I want this video to be as nice as possible, I am not going to give up my fresh air. I'm sorry.
Especially since we're moving into fall, which we're not going to get more of these days.
Yeah, we're not going to get too much more. Besides, we have exactly 0 viewers, so we ain't disappointing anyone.
Anyone who may come in later on, or who may watch this later on, and
Yeah, but not at the moment.
watching it, and
Which is fine.
we're talking and laughing, also hear in the background.
It's a toy war. There's a toy war going on in the other room.
Sweet.
I know.
Who's winning?
I'm gonna, after I'm done with this, I'm gonna go over, put on my Napoleon hat, and become Commander Play-Doh, and I'm gonna command one side of it. I'm probably gonna lose again, but try my best.
My words of wisdom for that: watch out for Twilight Sparkle.
She's a psycho.
Yeah, she's. Actually, that's Fluttershy. It's always the nice ones.
No, Fluttershy is something you don't mess with. She's not so much a psycho as much as she's a sadist. Not exactly the same thing, but you know. Yeah, I'm not going to say that the DreamWorks 3D animated stuff couldn't. It could be better. I mean, Square could be better. I mean, the rendering could be better. Maybe there's some elements of the story or whatever could be better. But the fact is, there's nothing wrong with it. They're just fun, and the things that I'm liking about it are like sort of the fact that it's carrying over the stuff in the theatrical releases that worked. And it's like they're having a chance to develop how they do stuff at a faster rate than just like 1.5 hour movie per summer kind of a thing. I mean, I really enjoyed a lot of the DreamWorks stuff, and they just they're not doing as much as they used to, which is a shame. But they're doing it on TV, so I mean, hey, we're getting stuff. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's the latest DreamWorks big movie property? I know there's.
I remember the last one. It didn't seem
How to Train Your
interesting.
Dragon 3. That's the last one that I remember,
Okay.
which we still haven't watched yet. But yeah, that was the last one for this particular one for now. I think there's something coming out later on this
Yeah.
winter.
I think that's what I'm thinking of. I remember seeing something and just going like, well, that doesn't look all that interesting. I mean, I could be wrong, I could square out be wrong.
Let me see. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's do the internet thing.
Generation 2019. Alright, DreamWorks. See what's coming up. Scroll. scroll. That's a lot of stuff to scroll by. Oops. This is DreamWorks Animation Productions. Okay.
There we go.
Alrighty, let's see. Alright, last one. Was of course How to Train a Dragon for this year. Oh yeah, that one Abominable that we saw.
Oh yeah.
So that's gonna be that and the Trolls
Okay,
the Trolls World Tour with the
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of that I went. But the Abominable one, I remember, that looked like that could be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be. I don't know, but the Trolls one, I just had zero. I didn't understand. I'm like, maybe they're good movies. I don't know, but they're not doing it for me at the moment. I'll put it that way.
Well, you're not their target demographic.
Clearly.
And the thing is, from what I heard, the first one was actually really funny.
Was it really?
Yeah, I heard of people. So like, I thought I put it on our list to watch for later on, but the second one actually kind of looks fun with the because I like the premise of the whole music thing that they had. And
Okay,
that was
admittedly,
kinda,
I thought that was kind of fun.
and so like, and you know what,
Yeah.
I want to check it out because also with the different, just from what they were showing with the different textures of the different worlds and all that, it looked really neat. Like animation. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? It looked neat the way they put the different textures and different. Oh man, I am just blanking on my description.
We've been terrible today on the words.
Yeah.
The words have been
Brain not wording good. Oh man.
skull not braining well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
but it looked neat just from a pure animation and artistic standpoint, and just from the textures looked cool and it looked fun, and I want to see it for the sake of like that, and also for the music thing. And I mean, and I know they're gonna do the whole. They have to do it because it's a kids movie. The quote unquote bad guy's gonna be the good guy at the end, of course. They're gonna change their ways, and because I wasn't jealous with the fact of them making the heavy metal people the bad guys.
I wasn't happy with that either. That's not my experience with the heavy metal group.
Yeah, but
Matter of fact, I was like, wait a minute, the Wild West people are good guys. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, and then you're making.
They were, because remember in the trailer when they showed the Wild West, the one was that the critter with the buzzsaw teeth that attacked him in the West.
Okay, maybe I got that wrong. It's been a while since I've seen the trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to change the bad guy to the good guy because of the power, harmony of music and all that. It's gonna be a given, but it still looks pretty fun. And I was like, you know what, I want to see just for the voyage. It looks cute.
Well, the moment I was like, this is kind of like meh, and then the heavy metal characters came on. I'm like, oh, this is kind of looking like fun. I'm like, oh, they're stereotypical villains. I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing that dumb game. I'm like,
Same
okay.
note, they may completely throw us for a left turn.
That would be nice.
I mean, it's happened before when we watch it. We're like, oh, well, that's a pleasant change.
That would be nice. What would be really awesome is the heavy metal people actually end up really being the actual heroes. That would be nice because it's always been my experience that a lot of the heavy metal groups, the fans and stuff, are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Mm-hmm. Not to say that fans of other music aren't. I'm just saying I'm tired of that stereotype because I've known a lot of heavy metal people and most of them are the nicest people you've ever met.
Well, it's the whole people fear what they don't understand thing. You have aggressive looking, quote unquote aggressive looking people who look different from your standard cookie cutter outfit. Of course they're going to be afraid and not understand them and be all weirded out because that's society. I mean, people were weirded out by jazz. People were weirded out by
I find that strange,
people
but
were weirded out by classical music when it first came through.
Yeah, it's man, there were whole like schools of classical music that was like punk music at the time. They're like, this is degenerate, this is disgusting, and it's like the classical music we listen to today, and that's kind of like with heavy metal. I'm just going like,
oh my gosh, don't get me started with the whole the Baroque versus the opera.
Oh no,
standard
I know, right? Right. Right?
I have no idea.
I have no clue.
Exactly, but
I'm sure if you actually played me some, I would be like, oh, okay, no, I can see it. But at the moment, I'll be honest with you,
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. And opera, Baroque is throwing me. What are we talking?
Well, for just a very base overall, when it came to as far as vocal, like singing and vocalizations, the Baroque style at first was this really, the notes were very staccato and very, they moved around a lot. So imagine like the Christmas bells, ding 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 ding.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that was Baroque in a sense when it came to singing. When opera came in, it was holding and extending those notes, being powerful, being strong, being
it was like delicate music by comparison to like
heavy metal.
Like heavy metal, yeah.
And
No,
so,
I totally get what
yeah,
you're
so
saying. That
when-
would freak people
when
out.
opera
Yeah,
came in, people were literally
they were
angry.
degenerates, weren't
Yeah,
they? Yes,
they were degenerates.
Sure
They
it
were
was.
angry. People actually like plugged their ears, screaming at this devil music. Because
Wagner, you punk. Or I'm sorry, Wagner. Wagner, you punk. like the great granddaddy of heavy metal. It's Wagner or Wagner? I can't remember which it is.
I think it's Wagner.
Okay, is it Wagner?
The German pronunciation is
Wagner.
Yeah.
The great granddaddy of the heavy metal.
Well, yeah, so it's like you've always had stuff like
Yep.
that since the beginnings of music, and it's always going to be one group, the popular versus the unpopular, which then the unpopular becomes popular because of that. And it's the tale as old as time, you know.
There was one. It was on a radio lab years and years ago. They were talking actually why different generations hate music, and then there's what it is what they think it is, at least, is there's this organic circuit in your brain that for sound normalizes things, so you get used to certain sounds, and then other sounds, even if they're awesome sounds and they're great, they piss you off essentially. And so this one guy, he's an academic, and he had to go down and some archive for like a month, and he had to archive the recorded music of like the 1100s. So it's like that monk music of the that kind of
monk chanting.
yeah, like the monk chanting. And so the guy was like, as long as I'm down here, let me absorb all this I can. So while he's organizing stuff, he always had something playing. So by the time he got done and he came up, not that he was down there 24/7, but he spent a lot of time down there. So he finally, by the time he came up, and started interacting with humans again, this dude was playing this music, and he's just like, what is this god-awful noise? Blah, blah, blah. It was Beethoven. And what it was is over that month he had reset that so that he had gone to that sound, and then like Beethoven was like just a punk jerk, trash musician. And it was and it just goes to show, it's like when somebody's snobbing about their music. I'll be honest with you, I really like heavy metal, but I realize that other people have a right to their music. It's because my ear isn't adjusted. So I don't react well to other people's music, but I'm not like blaming them for it. I'm like, it's just not my thing. But most people don't even realize that. So when they hear something new, quite often they get a knee-jerk reaction, and it's terrible. And I just go like...
A great example of that was the dubstep craze of the late 2000s, early to mid. And a lot of people did not like it because to them it just sounded like a bunch of just electronic noise scattering their brain synapses.
I happen to like electronic noise.
But it was a certain type of just it made people uncomfortable.
It was like a reverberating grind, which was awesome, but I could see why that would get people.
Same here. Me personally, it took me, because I love music, I love analyzing it, I love, as you can probably tell, I love the psychological, the sociological aspect of it. I love music just all around. And so for me, it took. I remember listening to it going, what the heck is this? This is weird. And then after listening to a couple of different versions, like, I actually like that because it was to me, the ones that, at least that I listened to, it was raw and fun, and it combined a lot of stuff that I really liked about electronic music.
Well, it kind of went back to the old electronic music where it was so obviously synthetic, as compared to the new stuff where some of it's kind of hidden that it's synthetic. Like to me, that's what that was. Is they were going back to going like, oh no, this is as synthetic as it gets. And you were like, oh yeah.
Stuff like that made it easier for people to go on tour and do their music and all that, because you didn't have to bring tons of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of instruments or tour buses, and you basically could pack up.
Brought your Mac.
Bring your entire setup, which there's goods and bads of that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's to me, it's like, oh, well, he's not a musician, and he's just pushing buttons and stuff like that.
Different instrument.
Well, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's the exact same thing of just like, oh, well, he's not an artist. He's just using the computer to do
he's just,
it. Exactly.
He's just cheating because he doesn't make his own paints.
Yeah. And I've actually,
whatever.
and the sad thing is, this is a slight tangent off of the conversation, is I'm actually still reading comments of younger people who are in high school or about to go into college and all, who actually still say that their professors are telling them that digital art isn't real art. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's only the foundation of almost all art. Not all, but almost all art today.
If the past 20 years haven't
That's what
given
I'm saying.
a lot of the and people, and these people are also saying that there are still folks who are telling them, once again another segue or tangent off of the conversation, that excuse me, that using resources is cheating. Exactly. So that's.
I will take not any artist on, because I've seen dudes that are better than me, and I will tell you to your face and their face that they're better than me. But I will take most people on fearlessly, and I will use a computer every single time. Now, do I paint and use pencil and stuff? Yeah, because it's fun. But when I do production work, it's with a pixel, not with a pencil. Period.
Same results.
Same, because you know what happens when, crazy, I know, when you sketch something and then you scan it in to print it, guess what you're doing? Those are pixels. Yeah, it doesn't matter how you make your pixels. I mean, unless, of course, what you're buying is literally the paper with the pencil on it. Then that's a little different.
Unless you want to replicate that thing the next 10, 15, 100 times.
Yeah, go for it.
But anyway, back
Have
to
fun.
back to the original, as far as like with music and all that stuff. I was saying, using that as an example of people saying that what is and what isn't music and all. And going back to the whole thing with dubstep, yeah, I actually enjoy it. And there's a few songs. I actually have quite a few songs on my playlist, and I still listen to it because it's just fun overall, gritty. It gets you moving when you feel like it. And excuse me.
Well, it goes back to see if I can get these names right. Tangerine Dream. They were an early seriously electronic.
And the very
Clockwork.
Yeah,
did I get that right?
Yeah, Clockwork.
Clockwork.
They were the very first.
That is as electronic as it gets.
And that was in the 50s.
that was in the 50s. And so when people go like, oh, you know,
Kraftwerks. Yes, Kraftwerk.
Kraftwerk, was that it?
Kraftwer. No, was it E or no? W-O-R.
That sounds right.
But yeah, Kraftwerk was a German, the very first German, basically EDM group, and they were in the 50s.
Yeah, and I ended up looking at it going like, a lot of these people are saying this because they must literally know nothing of our history. Mm-hmm. Literally. Like, there were generations of painters when Picasso showed up, and see if I can get this right, my art history is a little blurry. Okay, Picasso, a lot of the reasons why the artwork was the way it was is because the current industrial processes were coming up with new paints, and so for the first time paints were buyable. So there was a whole generations before then where everybody made their own paints, made their own brushes, made their own canvases. That's why people get really, really rock hard nipples when people stretch their own canvases. Oh God, a company stretched my canvas. I'm not an artist anymore for using it. So Picasso was a punk ass kid that broke the rules and didn't make his own paint. So there was a whole generations before. Well, that's not real art because he's not making his paint. Oh, that's not real art because he's using a new technology. Sound familiar? That's not real art because he's using a new technology. Computer's a new technology. It doesn't matter. They're just old snobs. And yes, I will have that conversation to your face. If you are of that opinion, you are welcome to it. But I'm sorry. Grab a time machine, go back in time. I use paint. I do impasto painting. I use pencil. But the fact is computers ain't going away. That's not a fad. That's an evolution.
On today's episode of No, You're Wrong.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, he's not a real artist. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I professionally do art and have done so for a long time. Yeah, no. It's like saying that video games aren't art. They are art. They are serious art.
Like, have you picked up a thing and you've done something with it that made lines on another thing? Yes,
Etch-a-sketch counts.
You're an artist.
Etch-a-sketch counts.
Yep.
You know, it's art. There's people who poop on canvas and call it art.
We've seen it.
So if they get to call that art, I get to use a computer. Period.
Mm-hmm. And for those who may be watching this in the future at some point, please, please, please do not fall into the aspect of, or into the mindset of you have to suffer for your art.
Oh, geez, that is
Please
such
don't.
a ridiculous concept.
Please don't. Feed yourselves. Drink water. Shower. Socialize with your friends. Have fun.
You don't have to be a suicidal alcoholic to be an artist. That is such bull.
You don't have to starve yourself. Although being in art school, that comes
That
as
kinda
a
comes
that
part
kind
of
of
it.
came with the as being a college student. That comes with the territory. Just make sure that you're eating good stuff. Like if you have to do ramen noodles, make sure you get some good ramen noodles.
But why would you do that to yourself on purpose?
Yeah.
I got a job so I can have heat in the winter and food in my stomach. I'm a professional artist. I'm not one of these goofy, like, artistes, sitting around smoking about all the complaining about all the problems in the world, and then you bleed into your palette, and, oh, now I can put my angst and anger into my paintings. Please.
Meanwhile, you go and sell that exact same blood at the blood bank to try and get money for food.
I mean, I literally had instructors tell me, "Are you trying to make money with your art?" And I'm like, you realize how expensive this class is, right? And I'm paying your salary? Could you teach this class for free then?
Say that would have been the time to ask, are you selling yourself? Are you getting paid to do your art in this class? Yes? Then why?
Yes, I expect to be paid.
Then why are you asking me this question?
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I've been doing art since I was 13. I went through the college experience. I professionally do art, and there is so much about that art mentality that is still to this day so outside the realms of reality for me. I just go like, to me, what I figure is it's a bunch of rich kids that can afford to just be complete crazy people.
That's exactly what it is. A lot of the stuff that I've read would be.
And in that case, I'm like, you're a rich kid.
I'm going to go.
Of course, you can be an
I'm going to
idiot.
find myself and travel to like the top blah blah blahs of the Himalayas to find myself and to find.
So I can
inspiration.
bleed onto my palette.
Yeah. Like, meanwhile, mommy and daddy have fronted the trip for you to do that and bought all your supplies.
And meanwhile, I'm not a rich kid. I mean, I'm not a poor kid, but I'm not a rich kid. I have to work for a living. And I'm just going like, I'm sorry. I can't. I I don't believe suffering is a virtue. I'll put it that way.
Okay,
There's nothing about that concept that makes sense to me.
I think we're falling into the getting into the complaining old.
Oh yeah, no, we are. Sorry. I just
back again.
I'm sorry. I pull it back. That it's so confusing to me. I don't get it.
It is baffling. And
It's totally baffling.
From what I understand from a lot of the younger generation, it has gotten better. Just
Good.
that some of the attitudes.
Because kids shouldn't be subjected to that bull.
Especially
Art should be fun and
especially for the amount
fulfilling.
of money that people are paying. I mean, I'm not going to name any particular colleges, but there are some art colleges that are well known and well attended, known for their programs, but you're paying like $50,000-$60,000 a year.
No.
And I'm just like, wow, that's a lot of scratch.
There better be blowing hookers included.
Yeah, you better believe it. Well, college experience.
That wasn't my college experience.
I read this great line today, and I'm going to censor the best I can. Was I've heard that there are middle school kids who are now having sex at their age. And the person says, the only thing I was effing at that age was ugly.
I know your pain.
I was like, that hit me in the soul junk, man. I'm like, I know you.
That
I
did.
know you, man. I know that.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you, man. Woo!
But bring it back, though. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Bring it back. Yeah, it's one of those things where you go like, if you could go back and do it all again, would you be a crazy rich kid? Yes! But am I? No.
My thought was, if I could have the same turnout as I have now.
Actually, I want the same, but better.
Yeah,
You know,
I can see that.
You know, if I could go back and blah blah blah, because I actually have those moments where, because you know, when you write stories and stuff, you come up with a lot of infinite numbers of throwawayable ideas.
Your what ifs, yeah.
And then one of the what ifs was what if I went back in my own life and then tried to alter the stuff that blah blah blah. And then one of the biggest things to me repeatedly was oh, I can't do that, because it would affect the possibility of us ever getting together, kind of a thing.
Yep.
You know, so it's one of those things where you just end up going like, it's actually a good kind of thought exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I think almost always the response in my head ends up being is, you can't do it because any one thing changed.
Yeah, it's that butterfly effect.
It's that butterfly effect thing.
Mm-hmm.
But would I like to be a crazy eccentric artist? Of course I would.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is right now, this isn't even paying money. This is costed us money. You know, it's my real job. My 9 to 5, which I'm glad I've got, that's what pays for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the artists that are out there that are going like, it's like, well, you don't have to make money for stuff. It's like, I just don't get it. And I'm going like, well, I'm gonna draw my cartoons. Gonna write my stories. Gonna do my paintings. That's all I know. Everything else, I don't have time or energy to think about it anymore. Like, y'all are crazy. And I realize that he is glowing, and it's actually super difficult to see the highlights in his eyes. I don't care. So at the moment, I'm going to put highlights in because I like highlights.
Highlights are awesome.
And I'm going to specifically put them in to break up the big dark areas of his eyes. Because he doesn't have whites of his eyes, he has blacks of his eyes. So in the blacks of his eyes, I'm going to put the highlights in there. I'm not saying the design work in Three Below was brilliant, but it was good.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's like one of those ones where you go like, is it genius work? I'm like, I don't know if it's genius, but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, there's a whole lot of questions I would like to ask the creators as to like what is actually up with like the species that are involved in some cases. Because there's some stuff that isn't really explained, like, is Varvatos Vex and the royal family even the same species?
Yeah, because while he has...
Or are they related species? Or are they... Because in a way they're the same, but then they're also extremely different.
Yeah,
and they never answered it.
Yeah, because on the, when they were showing some of the different, or the different people of the area where they were at, because the royal family has 2 eyes but 4 arms. And then some of the different people in the areas also had 4 arms, and then some had 2 arms, some had 4 eyes, some had 2 eyes.
Varvatos had 4 eyes and 2 arms,
Yeah.
and on top of it was enormous. Most of they showed a lot of the warrior types on that, and they weren't as big as he was. You know, and so it's I'm almost kind of looking at it like maybe they're sort of like an insect kind of species where the different castes have different physical like features to them, or it could be they're different species, or I don't know what it, but they never said it, and I'm always kind of going like, nope, fun show, but I'm wondering what is that, because I was kind of wanting, and this isn't like meant to be, this is not really ridiculous. I wanted to see the female versions of what Varvatos is, you know, and kind of in a way he kind of found sort of one on Earth, which is why I was kind of like wanting to see if there are female versions, or if there's even females in that species. They never really, they're like living crystal light creatures. They're it's not exactly the same as Steven Universe, but it's close enough, you know. And you're going like, can I have some questions answered here? I mean,
When you said crystal light, I just immediately thought of the 80s powder drink. The powder
crystal light. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I'm even adding some details that are not actually on the original, but I don't care. I want to put some bags under his eyes. I think that would look kind of neat. Add to the ferociousness of his expressions.
This is your world. You live in it.
I'm gonna put a happy little eye sack right here.
Happy little eye bag.
Happy little eye bag.
He's lived a hard life, but that's okay. Hard life is good. It's all right.
It just shows that he knows what living is.
Don't call them frown lines. You call them smile lines. That means you smile a lot. You laugh a lot as you were mutilating the many deaths of your people.
Varvatos Vex!
He's got a...
One of the artists I follow just posted a picture of the new Pennywise from It, and she just posted just various pictures of him dancing.
I have yet to see that.
I still just for that one scene that I saw, one of the clips of him doing the kick leg cowboy dance, and it was just so unsettling, which it's what was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because it was
Pennywise is a nightmare.
Yeah, it was him doing that, but the camera was focused on his face, but everything else around him was shaking to the rhythm of his movements. And so you just saw his face with that creepy look, and he's just staring at the kid with this look, and he's just doing that dance, and everything's just shaking around him. It's like, that is unsettling and cool at the exact same time.
I've been, it's not that I'm avoiding the It movie, it's just I haven't seen it, and I love the book so much. And not to say that the 80s TV version was perfect, because it had its problems, but it also had like almost perfect versions of some of the parts of the original books. And so, and not to say that it's Tim Curry, right? Tim Curry did that?
Yes.
Tim Curry. Tim Curry's version was perfect, but it was quite good. And so this new version looks terrifying. And so I'm very curious to see how it translates, because Pennywise is a scary, scary creature.
Wow, dang.
Mm.
Oh, somebody just insulted somebody else online, and it was a solid burn. A yeast infection has more culture than you.
Ooh.
That's my...
Dang.
Exactly. I was like, woof.
Woof. That is cold.
Damn, Gina.
Mm.
Why you do that to me, Gina?
Mm.
I was like, wow, wow. God dang.
Seriously. Jeez.
That was a solid burn, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap.
Alright, so, of course, you know, I've been working on the next pin-up here with the My Little Pony Bomber Girl pin-ups. I'm trying to decide, should I give Rarity make her in like one of the traditional kind of army outfits that they had, or
I think you should put her in that porn soldier outfit that she wore in the show.
That's kind of what I was
I don't
thinking.
care what you call it. It was a porn soldier outfit.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because that's what for Twilight I did sort of a version of that with the outfit that she was wearing in that particular episode. So I was trying to see, like trying to incorporate something from that, which I think, because I know she had on like tall boots, so I think I'm going to give her the thigh-high boots, definitely.
Yeah, the porn soldier outfit. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to figure out how exactly. Well, at least like the knee-high boots I gotta make, because I'm gonna do a skirt of some sort. Or maybe I'll do the shorts. Or maybe I'll make her shorts. I don't know.
Personally, I just think you should do the porn soldier outfit.
Well, she's gonna need something to cover her bottom. She didn't have any bottoms on the porn soldier.
Yeah.
I can't do that, sorry, sweetie.
They did it in the show.
But this is
a pinup. So you're saying that the little children's show was far more racy than your pinup artwork?
Yes.
I think you need to do some soul searching, sweetie.
I'm not doing that.
I'm just saying that just doesn't sound right, sweetie.
Where's my one favorite reaction when it comes to stuff like that? Oh, come on, ready to go. Finally, it's just this really great picture I found of Bugs Bunny and like one of the frame transitions from one of the original old school Warner Brothers, and somebody just added the phrase "no" onto it, and it fits so perfectly.
Varvatos Vex. Varvatos Vex thinks you should put her into the porn soldier outfit, and there will be much glorious death and devastation in the porn outfit. Yes, I believe Varvatos Vex should be on My Little Pony, because it would be funny.
Yeah, give him let's see, what's the character, T-Rex, and give him somebody to fight against. Oh, actually, him against Discord would be hilarious.
I swear, I just watched Three Below, and it was fun. But I just watch it really for Varvatos Vex. He just slays me. And yes, he is not the greatest character ever. I don't care. He's still just funny to me. Varvatos Vex. You shall slay them and bring their skulls back to me so that I can fill it full of fresh fruit. He's just a crazy person. He's just so funny.
Oh, look, this little puppy, he has natural hearts on him. Oh, little hearts. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Oh.
That's an adorable dog, yeah.
Wow. Now
That's the kind of dog that would fart in a horrific fashion and people would still stand around it going, aww. Aww.
you a stinky little boy.
It's
Meanwhile, here's a really great shot of an albino squirrel, and he found a little screw, and he actually looks like some old wizened animal. Check this out.
I have questions I wish to ask that wise old man.
And I'm sure he will give them that. He will give you answers. That is a very fantastic picture.
What is the meaning of life? How do you spell that?
I would have never thought of it that way.
I've been wrong my entire life. That's what's going on.
Thank you, old wise squirrel.
Varvatos Vex. Actually, one of the things I really liked about Varvatos Vex, very specifically, they created this way excessive, over-the-top crazy person. And I mean, legitimately, there's moments where stuff is coming out of his mouth that is so irrational and crazy. I mean, to the point where I can't stop laughing. And then he will say some of the wisest stuff, like Uncle Iroh stuff on the show. You know what I mean? Like, there's just moments where, you know, they kind of take his warriorliness over the top. It's like he's a Genghis Khan kind of warrior type. So it's just, you almost expect him to scream rape and pillage. It's almost there. He is so excessive. But then when he starts talking about actual warrior stuff, what it is to really actually be a warrior, real stuff starts coming out of his mouth. And those are the moments where I go like, yeah, that is cool, because he's like a total crazy person. But then when he starts talking about the way of the warrior stuff, it's like old school kung fu warrior or Roman soldier kind of stuff, where he's talking about like the real deal, and he's there, and he's not glossing over anything in any way. And you go like, you just kind of go like, wow, no, that's good. They took him and they didn't make him two-dimensional. It's just that where he comes from in reality is the craft of violence. And you gotta give it to him. He knows what he's talking about. There's just moments where you're like, dude, no, you never say that thing again. And then there's the bit where the princess wishes to become a warrior, and he gets real with her. Right. And those are some of the best moments. Because he gets real with her. It's like, all right, what's the first lesson about being a warrior? Is it kicking or punching or blah, blah, blah? And he's like, that is incorrect. You will sit next to Varvatos Vex, and you will sit here until you learn patience. And you just go like, yeah, actually, that's part of it. It's just like, I don't want to do that. It's like, you will do this. And you will learn patience. Because that is what will keep you from being killed. And I'm like, thank you. the kicking and punching and screaming and blowing stuff up and doing all the crazy pants warrior stuff comes after the base concepts of discipline and patience. You know, and I'm glad they did that. Because I'm tired of kids' shows showing warriors like a bunch of completely undisciplined, unskilled, crazy people. Which is what he seems like most of the time until you get down to what he does. And then he'll be real honest about what it really takes to actually, you know, do the do. And it involves the possibility of dying every single time. He's like, I didn't want you to be a warrior because you could get killed and you're not taking this seriously.
Right.
Oh, you're taking this seriously. You could be killed and you're accepting that. Now I'll teach you to be a warrior. It's like, oh. It's like the character legitimately, for those who haven't seen the series, expected to not survive the series. He expected to die in glorious death constantly. And that was the thing that the normal people taught him was, you deserve to live. Which was, you know, kind of awesome. But on the same note, it's part of being a warrior is accepting the fact that you potentially are going to die. He was really a fun character, you know. So he kind of passed on the ways of the warrior, the dark, dangerous, real kind of stuff. And the normal people passed on the ways of living your life like a normal person.
Right.
Which was awesome. So there was this give and take between the two completely very different mentalities, which is why I liked this character. He was just fun. Varvatos Vex. Let me see here. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's fun.
There we go. Yeah, I'm going to say right now, of course, the DreamWorks stuff could have been stronger. But I don't care because it's still fun to watch.
Well, not only that, but I mean, it was good for them giving us a mini series that was done probably within like the last year,
Yeah.
couple of years or something like that. So, I mean, yeah, I'm just glad that we're getting more animation in general, and just more fun, more creator-owned ideas, and more stuff that's just not your basic everyday.
Well, yeah, to be honest, it may not. This and Troll Hunters might not have been perfect, but they did some stuff in it that hasn't been typical over the last decades, to be honest. And there's just some jokes in there that are far more, you know, liberal, and you know, they openly have some gay characters, and you know, they went in and decided that it was okay to say things like kill, death, destroy, you know, murder, you know, because that's not going to turn kids into psychopaths, you know.
Yeah.
Knowing the word doesn't turn them into psychopaths.
They're not suddenly going to start crying, "Mommy!"
Well, that's what always got me. It's like, well, in G.I. Joe, don't have them shooting bullets at each other. Have them shooting lasers at each other. Zero difference. Zero. Zero. I'm sorry. That makes no difference. It makes you feel better. It doesn't change the fact that people are shooting guns at each other. Well, don't have the gun shoot at the camera directly, because that will turn the kid into a murderer. No, it won't. You idiots, you know.
Well, I can almost understand where they were coming from with that line of thinking, because there wasn't nearly as much gun regulation. Well, there still really isn't much gun regulation, but there wasn't much as far as gun safety during that time period. I mean,
Well, there's quite a bit depending on the area.
So I knew many people who didn't keep their guns locked up and all that stuff. So
Sure, but I also came from the opposite of that, where there was a ton of gun discipline for where I came from. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I think that differed per area. Because I came from the country and there was a lot of gun discipline out there. But I'm sure. I'm sure.
Like I said, I see what I saw where we're coming from, and it was more of a we're doing this to keep our butts from getting
Sure.
tossed in the fire with some angry parent rants at us, which they did anyway.
Well,
But still.
it's like the old idea of, well, but if Bugs Bunny drops an anvil on someone's head, Timmy might pick up a 300-pound anvil and drop it on his kid brother's head.
Yep. Well, you might. And the thing is, as much as I mean, because you know me, I love cartoon violence.
Well, so do I.
It's like, and again, I see where they're coming from because kids are very prone to imitatable behavior. And
Sure, but
still one of my favorite jokes.
But your parents are supposed to teach you what reality is, and you're not supposed to do dumb stuff.
Oh yeah, but kids are still going to do it because kids are stupid. I mean, look at
To a degree, sure.
Look at what kids are doing nowadays because of internet stuff. That's it.
Yeah, but on the same note, I'm not seeing anybody dropping pianos on people.
No, they're eating Tide Pods instead.
That's called Darwinism. And, hate to sound cold, if you're that dumb. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to say. If you're dumb enough to eat industrial washing products, because it's awesome, or whatever, it just, I don't know what to say. That is about as dumb as you can get. I'm going to eat red hot coals because the internet told me to. Why would you do that? Okay. Well, I think that turned out decent. I might come back to him. I think he's a fun character. Anywho, everyone have yourself a good week. We will be back tomorrow. And for the end of the episode, Smooch, unfortunately, it is Connie from Steven Universe in her appropriately actually training to be a warrior shot, which this was completely unplanned. So Connie meets your new sensei for eternity in a very unhealthy lip lock. Woo! I know. I mean, he's like 9 feet tall. She's like 4. Not years old, but close enough. Feet tall. Yes. Yeah. Could have planned that one better. Okay.
But you did.
But I didn't. So, everyone have a good one. We will catch you later.